She waits and she watches, but no one comes. Can she leave, and what will happen if she does? What lies beyond these four walls, and is she home or somewhere else? As always, I'm late to the party if it's anything current, but when the Little Nightmares 3 showcase aired a couple weeks ago, among the many other exciting updates, a 23-second trailer was featured advertising a stop-motion project created in collaboration with the animation studio Taller Del Chucho. This is the same studio that brought us Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio and various short films, including Dolores and Humo. But there is so much lore out there about the haunting, mesmerizing world of the nowhere and the counties that I've always felt intimidated talking about Little Nightmares on this channel. Which is wild, considering Taraco and his channel were some of the biggest inspirations for me creating this little corner of cozy horror on YouTube. So while I'm by no means an expert, I thought it might be fun to share my thoughts with you all on the stop motion project, share a lot of my crazy speculations, and perhaps together we can make some interesting connections and actual theories about a little girl spirited away to a dark, dangerous world. I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you already know a bit about Little Nightmares, but if not, I must warn you there will be some spoilers regarding the podcast, parts of the games, the comics, etc., but I'll try to keep it relevant to the animation. Special shout out to K-Church JR for being a supportive member of the Cozy Nightmare Club, and if you're ready, sit back, relax, get cozy, and let the nightmare begin. For starters, let's go over the animation as it was presented in the showcase. The scene opens with a little girl peering out of a window onto a foggy seaside town that appears worn down and on the verge of collapsing. Off in the distance, hidden in the fog, is a large factory, maybe. We also see a bit of rope tied to the window on the outside. The girl watches a flock of birds fly past and the scene shifts. She's now pulling down on a gift tag that reads, "For Emmy, may this replica capture your heart." The note is signed, "From him." She pulls the tag down and it's revealed that inside a large green gift box tied with brown ribbon is a dollhouse. It opens, revealing 3 separate floors, but we can't quite see what's inside. We can see a tiny charm tied to a circular window with rope, and we'll later see the dollhouse, this replica, is the same as the one the girl is currently in. Her eyes grow wide with curiosity, and after looking around the room, she pulls out a doll that we can just barely see before the scene changes again, showing us the exterior of the home. Behind it are other desolate buildings, all without roofs, except for the girl's house. The charm on the window is revealed to mirror a toy train dangling from the piece of rope. Day quickly changes into night and all the windows shine yellow except for one. A blue light glows and flickers from the second window on the bottom floor. While the girl is sleeping, the same blue light begins to glow in the dollhouse nearby. The camera cuts to a close-up of her face while she sleeps, but then another shift occurs. She's now on her hands and knees crawling around the dollhouse. Only now it looks to be aged and destroyed. The ground around her dirt, and as she peers inside, something looms in the darkness behind her. Another scene change, and the little girl is staring back out of the window at night, the toy train still dangling. She closes her eyes, and everything goes black. So, admittedly, not a lot to go off of with under half a minute of footage. There's not even a title for the project yet, but El Taller Del Chucho, Sofia Carillo, and Carillo Fernandez will be big contributors to its creation and have potentially hinted at the type of project we can expect. Sofia has directed multiple short films, including La Casa Triste, La Bruja del Fosforo Paciente, and most notably Cerulia, which she also wrote. It's in this short film that I noticed a similarity in aesthetic between the puppets featured here and in the Little Nightmares trailer. There's the same wide, doll-like eyes, the tiny chin and larger heads, and these were created by Carillo Fernandez. Fernandez confirmed he was the head of the puppet department for the Little Nightmares project on his Instagram page, and tagged Rita Basulto, who confirmed she was a puppet painter. Both Basulto and Fernandez refer to the project in past tense as if it's already completed. So I wonder if perhaps we can expect a release date sooner than we think, and maybe the project is a stop-motion short, as this type of production is the kind most frequently made by the animation studio. But if that's the case, what's the story behind this short? At face value, it seems to be about a girl named Emmy who finds herself transported into a dark, desolate place, presumably in the nowhere, after receiving a dollhouse as a gift from the mysterious him. If you couldn't see him in the trailer, enhancing the brightness on this scene will reveal none other than the ferryman, the one responsible for ferrying children to the mall and convincing children to give themselves up to the nowhere. Theorists have speculated the ferryman was the one who gifted the dollhouse and that Emmy might be near the candy factory revealed as a destination for Low and Alone in Little Nightmares 3. And probably the coolest observation that Terrico pointed out in his video of the Little Nightmares 3 showcase is that Emmy's dress is oddly similar to that of the monster babies in the necropolis. They have the same puff sleeves and collar, similar color palette, and while Emmy has a belt, the monster baby has a bit of rope tied about her waist, which could be a callback to the train dangling from the window. The monster baby also seems to have once had pigtails like Emmy's before they were worn away over time. I really like the idea that Emmy becomes the monster baby because, as we've seen throughout the games, the nowhere has a way of turning children into monsters or residents over time, and she becoming a doll would be very fitting to receiving the dollhouse where she now plays with her toys forever. But one thing I couldn't get out of my head was the potential for misdirection, specifically with the girl's name. Emmy could be her name, of course, but as we've seen time and time again, the children's names are often nicknames, with Noon being one of the only children to have her first real name revealed. I was thinking that like Noon, which is the combination of the words no and one, what if Emmy was a nickname as well? Could Emmy be a grammagram, the sound of the name creating the word me, as in M-E, me, maybe as a hint that she can no longer remember her life outside of the nowhere. She's just her, i.e. me. The spelling of him could literally mean him, H-I-M. I also wonder if Emmy is actually someone already mentioned before, someone known to us through either the games or the podcast. I had initially thought maybe Noon because of the reference to the toy train and the promenade, then seeing a toy train hanging from the window, Noon finding the Lottie Potty doll, then this girl potentially becoming a monster baby doll. They even both seem to have pigtails, which quite a few female characters tend to, so perhaps these are all just odd coincidences. Going further down into the rabbit hole of speculation, could Emmy be the one and only Cece? I know, there's been a lot of theorizing on Cece being 6 or the little girl in the yellow raincoat, which are all incredibly valid points given the clues. But I don't know. I just want to let my imagination run wild for a second here because we don't yet know when this project takes place in the timeline of Little Nightmares, nor how time has affected this girl since we know it can work differently in locations like the Signal Tower. I have this whole headcanon where she could be Cece and then Otto finally makes it into the nowhere after being an absolutely depraved counselor only to find his sister has been transformed into a monster and oh my god, what if he is the hangman within the mall and the letter was meant for Cece? Oh! Okay, there's literally nothing to support that idea, but it's just a fun thought I had to share with you guys, so I've composed myself, so let's move on. I've seen some videos talking about how this location is the nowhere, but also this might be the nowhere, so which is it? A lot of people have speculated this is the candy factory that Low and Alone explore in Little Nightmares 3, as I've said, but I'm kind of thinking this seaside-looking town is within the nowhere and might potentially be the location of the bathhouse mentioned in The Sound of Little Nightmares. Mike Bambridge, aka Super Horror Bro, wrote the script for Chapter 2, and during one of his videos, he confirms there's a seaside town that leads up to the bathhouse. Perhaps this is that town, and these towers here are the same that Noon references when she talks about a fishy stench that pours out of the chimneys of the bathhouse. I thought maybe this little blob in the distance could be one of those fish-shaped boats, but it also kind of just looks like a house on the water to me. I don't know. What do you guys think it could be? If this is a location in nowhere, then I started thinking that perhaps the darker area where the girl is crouching near the worn-down dollhouse might be within the counties. The ferryman tends to take children who have suffered in the real world, as they seem to be more likely to accept the nowhere at first. I started wondering if perhaps Emmy's real house burned down or was destroyed, her beloved dollhouse ruined but somewhat intact. I also noticed if you play the events of the trailer in reverse, it gives you a slightly different story. She, alone after the destruction, with her parents gone, finds her old dollhouse glowing as the ferryman watches her in the distance. Interacting with the dollhouse transports her inside the main house in the nowhere where she looks around, surprised at all the presents and the large gift before her. It seems that she's looking for someone or wondering whether it's okay to open the gift as if it doesn't truly belong to her. It could just be Fernandez's gritty art style of the puppet, but it looks like Emmy's face is dirty, her hair frizzy as if she found the destroyed dollhouse first. Then there's this still shot here. It looks as if Emmy is holding onto two different dolls. perhaps of her parents. It also looks like there are 3 floors, but only the top floor of the dollhouse is decorated with the rest bare. If Emmy desired to be with her deceased parents and play forever, perhaps that could justify her becoming the monster baby if that's the case. The dollhouse could be mostly bare because it was designed to capture Emmy and keep her on the top floor away from its exits. Though that also makes me wonder about the positioning of the strange light on the first floor of the house if Emmy is sleeping upstairs with the dollhouse once it starts to glow again. I clearly don't have any answers to my burning questions. I do think this story will be about a lost, lonely girl who wanted to play and be loved, but instead she's condemned to further isolation and loneliness. But I guess we'll just have to wait for its release to find out. But as always, I want to know what you think. Again, this was by no means meant to be a theory video because there really isn't enough to go off of to make theories, but I just wanted to share all of my headcanons, all of my crazy thoughts and speculations. Just see what you guys think. Please educate me on the things I missed, Little Nightmares lore I might not have known about or considered, because while I love sharing my thoughts with you all, I love learning from you even more. And I don't know about you, but this trailer has just rekindled my interest in stop motion animation, and I've been obsessing over Cerulia and other projects from indie companies as well. If you liked this kind of shorter video and or want to see more Little Nightmares or stop motion content on the channel, please let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, I'll be back to posting about some horror comics I've been reading and other indie horror games in the near future. Thank you so much for watching. Here's another one of my videos. And as always, may your nightmares be strangely cozy.